Hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the Forster XTI project series. In this episode we're going to be wrapping up our custom hood scoop. We're going to be installing it on our good hood, on the hood that's on the car, and we should get into some body work. Also in this episode I will reveal the next modification that we're going to be doing to this Forester, so stay tuned. So we're going to start the day by fully welding out our intake shroud to our upper hood scoop and grinding down some weld marks, as well as taking care of some imperfections in the metal. So we finished welding out our intake section of our hood scoop. We're going to move on to capping off the back of the hood scoop so that the water doesn't get in there. So now that we have the measurements for our end cap, all we have to do is transfer them on our piece of steel and cut it out and try it on the hood scoop. So it's finally time for our new hood here to go under the knife. So before we start cutting up the good hood, it's important to get all our measurements, plot them out on the good hood, and double and triple check them. I want to do this once, and I don't want to waste a good hood. it's time to do some cutting. So now that the upper rear section is test fitted, it's time to make our cuts so that we can install the front section of the hood scoop. So it's another beautiful day, and we're going to continue working on our custom hood scoop. We're going to concentrate all our efforts on the front lower portion of the hood scoop. We're going to, like I discussed, we're going to do this mainly in two portions, and I want to make sure that all the bends, all the fitment is 100% before we join those two sections together. So let's get to it. So as I was cutting up this hood to make room for the front section of our hood scoop, I had an idea. You see, I really like the look of the later model XTs and the WRXs that have this seamless transition from the front of the hood all the way where it kind of goes into the intake. And for this reason, I think the best thing to do is to use the existing hood, a section of this existing hood, and kind of bend it downward. And hopefully we'll be able to recreate that look. I'm not sure how challenging this is going to be, but certainly I'm going to try. So let's see what happens. So we got a little challenge we need to overcome. As you can see, this line is curved, and we need to bend along that line. But as they say, where there's a will, there's a way. So this front section took a little longer than I thought it would, but we're in the home stretch now. Soon we'll be trimming and bonding our upper section. As I mentioned before, we're going to do this in two sections. First, we're going to bond our upper section to the hood, weld out our front section, and bond it separately. So, because the way it's connected to the hood, it's connected to the cross beam, we can't just lift it up. It actually slides in. So this is why we have to bond these two sections and weld them out separately. time to do some trimming. So it took a lot of effort to get the front section of the hood scoop to fit properly, but as you can see, it aligns and we're almost ready for the bonding process. Before we do any kind of panel bonding, what I would like to do is kind of paint all of the metal, the bare metal that's going to be on the backside, just in case you don't want to leave bare metal open. So once we paint everything underneath, we can go ahead and permanently bond the hood scoop to our hood. So it's another beautiful day. The paint is dry and we're ready to permanently mount our hood scoop to our hood. We have bonded both the upper and the lower section of our hood scoop. We also tack welded them together. It's still a little wet, it's curing, so we cannot begin our body work at the moment. I know I said that we would get into body work in this episode, but it's simply not happening. This fabrication process of the front section took way longer than I thought, so we lost a lot of time there. But it does line up, and after we apply our filler and everything's grinded down, you won't see any seams. That's the idea anyway. As far as the hoods, I know you may have noticed a couple of hoods in the scene, one that's on the car and this one. Well, let me kind of give you the backstory. I initially wanted to tack weld this to the hood, and in order to do that, I had to buy a metal hood. These cars usually come with an aluminum hood, and I bought the metal hood, and the problem arose when I realized it's too heavy. Just the hood itself was heavy enough. When you put all this stuff on, and especially the shroud and all the stuff that's underneath, the hood strut wouldn't even hold it up. So I figured the best thing to do is just to get an aluminum hood. That's what we're using here, and use the bonding process. Now, For anyone that's not familiar with panel bonding, this is not your regular glue. This is panel bond. This is structural stuff. They use this in structural components, believe it or not. So this is very, very strong. So we shouldn't have any problems. So in the next episode, we will grind everything down. We will do the body work, and then we'll start on something special. And that's been something that I wanted to do for a long time. And I'll just cut to the chase. We're going to make our own fenders. This thing's going to get wider. So before we go, there's a couple of issues I want to address. First off, we're not making any kind of replica. This is just a custom car build inspired by various Subaru models and design elements. The second issue is this is not just a cosmetic build, meaning that we will get into the suspension and the drivetrain and all kinds of other cool goodies and cool projects that I know a lot of you want to see. But we can only tackle one task at a time, one project at a time. So although we started modifying the look of the vehicle, we will also get into the driving characteristics, power output, and all kinds of other stuff. So just bear with us. It's going to take some time, but we will do a lot of cool things to transform this thing into something, hopefully something that turns heads. So with that, I thank you for watching. See you soon.